Now these right here, these are working man's Autobots. From Transformers Armada, this is Smokescreen and Liftor. And I'm going to tell you right now, these are some of my favorite designs in all of Transformers. I love specifically Smokescreen's design a lot. And I know the toy might not be the best, but I still am so happy to have him because I think it's such a great look for a Transformer. And Liftor is just the best Minicon there is, one of at the very least. But I'm so excited to go over these guys because, like a lot of Armada toys, there's a lot of gimmicks to talk about here, but Liftor and Smokescreen both have a whole lot to talk about. In vehicle mode, Smokescreen is a heavy-duty crane truck, and I really love the look of this. I love the color, I love like the red headlights, the black bumper, black windshield. It's such a striking look for an Autobot. There's no one else who looks like this. Even Grapple is very different from this guy. You, of course, have a little hook here for the crane. It can go around, all the way around. That said, when it faces all the way back, there's Smokescreen's face, because his face, his head, is actually connected to the mechanism. You also have a tow line. Check this out. What's even better is you can connect it to things like Minicons, like so. Put it on the Minicon port, and you can let old Smokescreen help tow them out of a ditch somewhere. Now, there isn't a spring load to the winch. You have to roll it back up yourself, but that's such a great little gimmick. Like, it's good, the rope is nylon, so it's going to be able to last quite a while, and if you're not using it, once you wrap it all the way back up, it can just connect here to the bar below. Wonderful. There's also an undocumented feature here. If you look here underneath this Autobot logo, there's a hatch. Open it up, and, you know, it's just a gear. It would have been cool if maybe there was like a sticker or something, but, you know, that's still fun. But that is just Smokescreen by himself. Then you bring in Liftor, his Minicon partner. And what can Liftor do? Well, if you want, you could just put him like right here, which would be weird, but you can do it. There you go. But here's what you're meant to do. You see this port up here on the crane arm. Connect it. And I'm going to try to make sure we have enough clearance here. But we're going to just send it up and send out a massive cannon. Look at this thing. By the way, that is a missile, spring-loaded. I'm going to launch it. Here we go, boys. That's great. A really good missile. And this is such a great gimmick to me because you already have the massive crane arm as part of the design, including this, which, by the way, look at this. It's literally like twice the length of Smokescreen's vehicle mode, but it's an awesome little gimmick for a kid. I still think it's an awesome gimmick. And I like the fact that only the last bit is spring-loaded. You have to extend it, but that also means that if you don't take it all the way, you've just extended the crane arm, which it's awesome that there's that level of playability in this vehicle mode as well. So, I don't know if you can tell, I am a massive fan of everything this toy is doing, at least in vehicle mode. In robot mode, maybe we'll have to wait and see. But before we talk about Smokescreen's robot mode, why don't we talk about Liftor for a little bit? Liftor is one of the only Transformers I can think of that turns into a forklift. And it's not the best forklift, it is very Cybertronian, which is to say, it doesn't really look like an actual forklift. But if you want, you actually can extend the forks a little bit. It does move the tires out of the way, but there is a way to move the forks, which is nice. It's more than you can say about the Revenge of the Fallen forklift. In terms of transformation, let me zoom out just a little bit. Boop. Liftor has a great one. So you're going to flip out the legs, and that's basically already most of the way there. Flip out the back, and then fold down the arms. And what you have is one of the most proportionate Minicons of the first year of Armada. Alongside that, you have a good swivel at the head, swivel at the arm, a hinge here at the elbow, but be very careful because that can be very prone to breaking. A ball joint at the hip, and a good hinge at the knees. You can also readjust these flaps up here to get a few different looks. And the head sculpt is just wild. It looks like Optimus Prime with a monocle. I love it. So you have this awesome Minicon, this working man of a Minicon. And then you bring in his partner. Well, that's good old-fashioned Smokescreen. And that's how you know that these are union men right here. They're fighting for all of our workers' rights. That's the thing I love about Armada. is because of all the gimmicks, it felt like the design team was comfortable just making normal vehicles. There were still some future cars like Blur, there were sports cars like Hotshot, but you also got things like sedans when you have Sideswipe, you have things like the tow truck here for Smokescreen. It was great. I loved so much of the vehicle mode and design diversity inside of Armada. But with that said, it's clear I like Liftor a lot. I go so far as to say he is the best minicon in Armada, at least that I've messed with. What about his big brother? Look at him! Oh, I love him! Oh, I actually love him! He's just a chubby little workster. Oh, you know what? I love this guy. That is a man who works his 9 to 5, goes home to his partner, says goodnight to the kids. This is the definition of blue collar. He's so blue collar that his face is blue. He's been working 9 to 5 trying to make that living, baby. And he is doing well. Get his buddy in here. Get Liftor in here. Look at these two. Can't you just see, like, the great conversations they must be having, like, when they're building stuff together? I know, we're gonna go over it, this isn't the best toy, but again, I just feel like I have to say, I love how this figure looks. It has problems, but God, there's not another Transformer like him. A big thing I have to give praise to right now is that head. I love Smokescreen's head. The big chubby face, the wide nose. Again, when you think of a Transformer that is designed to look as though they maybe are a bit overweight, shall we say, you think of Bulkhead and how he has a big gut. I like how they didn't give Smokescreen the quote-unquote fat guy silhouette, but it's still conveying that this guy would be a little bit chubbier for the Autobots. You also have the toe line here on the chest now, and of course, the massive crane is still here. A pretty big complaint I have with this figure is how many of the details you can't really see. For instance, his hands are buried inside of his vehicle mode kibble. There's not a way to extend these out. It'd have been fine if maybe these popped out or the fist could pop like closer towards the body. Instead, you kind of have to look at him from the side to actually see that he does have hands. Alongside that, it feels like you could have had an extension here in the legs. That just doesn't exist, unfortunately. And a lot of that does come down to how much plastic had to go into that big crane. At the same time, I don't know, there's something about how Smokescreen looks where he's friend-shaped. He looks like a guy I could go to with my problems, and he'd be, like, there to tell me that it was okay, and he'd give me, like, a little, like, cup of hot chocolate, and it's like, oh, thank you, Smokescreen. Thank you, thanks, Dad. That's an episode of Armada I wish we got. I wish we got an episode where Hotshot accidentally called Smokescreen Dad. Oh, it'd be like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's great. Articulation's a little bit weird for Smokescreen. For one, you have a swivel at the head, but you have to move the crane. There is no just swiveling the head. You can, but you're gonna knock it off the gear. So, in the interest of not breaking the toy, it's always going to be rotating alongside the crane. Alongside that, you do have a swivel here at the shoulder. This is not universal. It's a swivel on top of a swivel. There's nothing in the shoulder aside from just going out. Nothing in the elbow. Nothing in the wrist. Nothing in the waist unless you want to extend him, make him a little bit taller. There you go, Smokescreen. He's taller now. There is a ball joint down here in the hip. Nothing in the knee. And then a little bit of toe action, but not much that you could actually do anything with. So this guy's not going to be getting into a whole bunch of poses. He's just kind of there to supervise. He is supervising this construction project. Again, keep in mind, most of Smokescreen's bulk, both in terms of the character design and also just in terms of the plastic used to make him, is in that crane arm. So let's take out Liftor again, and let's do the gimmick, because yes, the gimmick still works in robot mode. And let's extend, yes! Oh, can he stand like this? Oh, it's hard. He's having a hard time. Yes, he can stand. Oh, look at that. Oh, wait. He's pissing on the moon, baby. Look at how big that is. Oh, God. You're killing me, Smokescreen. You're killing me. Look at that. Literally, this thing is 3 times the length that he is. And it can't go straight down. He always has to be shooting up. Oh, that's great. I love you, Smokescreen. Never change. Never change, you crazy guy. Look, let me be honest with you guys, right? For about 10 years on YouTube, Smokescreen was a whipping boy. Especially if you were someone who grew up through G1 or especially Beast Wars, I could see why Armada was a pretty sharp left turn. The toys are far more simple. They are far more reliant on their gimmicks. They are clearly made for a younger audience. But that doesn't change the fact that I think that they're some of the most unique and impressively designed Transformers ever. Like, yeah, Smokescreen has some issues. He has a bunch of issues. But I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun with him. He was great to mess with. Had an amazing time just toying with everything he has. I'm not gonna say that it's invalid to hate on Smokescreen. It's not. Because again, he has a lot of legitimate issues that there's just no getting around. But I hope that a video like this can help people who are my age or younger know that just because Armada toys were simpler doesn't mean that they're bad. Because I feel like that is a narrative that's finally beginning to change within the Transformers fandom. Because for a long time, Armada was one of the great, series that everyone could hate on. It's like, well, it's not the movies, it's not G1, it's not Beast Wars. And you're right, it's none of those things. It was unique. It was its own beautiful, beautiful little thing. And it had some good toys, it had some bad toys. But every toy they made was interesting. There was no such thing as a boring Armada toy. And can you really say that about every Transformers line? The best way I can put it is, when I hear the name Smokescreen in Transformers, I don't think of that guy. I still think of these guys.